Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to closing ceremony 2021 Handong Global University ODA Forum. My name is Ho Min-seok. I'm the team manager of Handong Unesco Unitwin project. It's my great pleasure to be host on this beautiful day right over here at Handong and through online. On behalf of Handong Global University, I'd like to extend a warm welcome all of you. We appreciate you take the time of your business schedule to join us today. Before we proceed, we'd like to introduce distinguished guests. Please give a big hands when the distinguished guests are introduced. First, Dr. Ki-sun Yu, Dean of Graduate School of Global Management and Leadership and Director of Social Innovation Center from Handong UNESCO Unitwin Project. Thank you. Next, Dr. Byung-deok Kang, Professor of School Counseling, Psychology, and Social Welfare, and Director of Global Leadership Center from Handong UNESCO Unitwin Project. Thank you. Now, I will introduce distinguished guests who have participated online from all over the world. First, Dr. Soo-young Chang, Professor of Department of Industrial and Management Engineering from Postech in Korea. Thank you. Next, Professor Dr. Govinda Tamang from Tribhuvan University in Nepal. Not here yet. Okay. And Professor Dr. Koshimov Elmorod from GSBE in Uzbekistan. Thank you. Next, Dr. Agus Hartadi from Jakarta International University in Indonesia. And Dr. David Kavuye from IPRC in Rwanda. Thank you all of us. To kick off today's forum, I'd like to invite our president of Handong Global University, Dr. Soo-young Chang, will deliver congratulatory remarks through video.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Soo-young Chang, president of Handong Global University. It's with great joy that you are able to conclude the 13th Forum on Sustainable Development Strategy of Higher Education in the COVID-19 era. I sincerely welcome everyone who is with us in this meaningful event. I especially would like to thank and welcome all the officials of the partner university who attend the forum. In addition, I would like to express my gratitude to the professors, students of Handong and Unitwin staff who took their precious time to attend this forum. It has been about 2 years since the WHO declared pandemic, which is the highest risk level among infectious disease warning stages, and experienced the fatal impact on society as a whole. In the meantime, not only Korea, but also the world has pulled out numerous studies and reports in each field on how to overcome the new crisis of COVID-19. If so, you can think of this question with the result of numerous efforts. Can you take off our mask and go back to the way you lived in the pre-corona era? However, contrary to our expectation, daily life cannot return to before COVID-19. Now you need to prepare for the youth corona era rather than post-COVID-19 era. In other words, quarantine will become a daily life and activity in all fields. It will be carried out on the basis of it. The same goes for the higher education, including university education. Korean education is focusing on untapped education, in other words, online education in preparing for COVID-19. Also, living in the area of the fourth industrial revolution, you have no choice but to pay attention to the education for the development of the customized learning system and the active learning ability through artificial intelligence. As I often say, innovation is difficult to occur in social economic stable period. COVID-19 is definitely a big crisis, but you have to actively take advantage of this opportunity because it is a time and innovation take place and the digital era accelerates. Handong Global University has been working hard to share knowledge and experience with developing countries and provide educational opportunity to foster global leaders who will change the world. In the particular, through the Unitwin project, which was designated for the first time in Korea by UNESCO, we have worked hard for 12 years to develop sustainable higher education in developing countries and foster human resource. Now that you are living in the with corona area, you are able to get innovative and insightful ways and ideas about where opportunities are, how to prepare for the future through these forums. Based on this, Handong Global University use shared experience, strategy, and know-how with institutions that implement ODA project and accelerate the promotion of effective and innovative higher education programs and projects suitable for the COVID-19 area. Finally, I would like to thank all the speakers and officials who have attended this forum so far, and I hope today's event will be meaningful for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, President Zhang. Now, we are going to start the first session of the forum. Session 1 is for summary of 2021 Handong Global University UNESCO Unitwin ODA Forum. Dr. Byung-Duk Kang will come up and give a speech. The topic is Cooperation Strategy for Higher Education in the COVID-19 era. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Byung-Duk Kang.
Thank you very much. I'm going to present what we have learned throughout this semester and from September to today and through a forum, and we have learned a lot of things. But I would like to summarize briefly and introduce you what we have learned. In the beginning of September this year, we planned International Development Forum for sustainable development in the COVID-19 era. We had three major purposes. The first one is to understand major socio-economic issues and the higher education strategies faced by developing countries in the COVID-19 era. Second is we would like to discuss about the cooperation strategy since the COVID-19 era is a big issue. And third one is to strengthen the partnership with global universities to achieve sustainable development. Even though COVID-19, that one is very big obstacles to come and go, but in the meanwhile, we would like to need to cooperate. So we would like to develop and strengthen our relationship. So here is a brief outline of the forum this semester, and the date and time. That is from September 8th to December 8th today, and about 13 weeks. We have held in the 13 the weekly forums, including 11 country sessions. And here are the names of the country, and Uganda, and Myanmar, and Uzbekistan, Nepal, Laos, and Thailand, and Indonesia, Rwanda, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and Mongolia. So I really thank all the people and who participate in the country sessions. And the 32 speakers participate in each country forums, and the former ambassadors and the current COICA local branch managers and some the professors in the local countries. And cooperation strategies for higher education in the COVID-19 era. I would like to summarize what we have learned from especially 11 the country sessions. Mainly there are three things. The first one is the university in developing countries. Their role should be knowledge exchange hub. The university is kind of the school, but the higher education facility and the university, their role should not be limited to just the student. And not only just the student, but also they include the community members. So it's learning they provide the learning opportunities, not for just the student, for the community members, and provide opportunity for doing and sharing. So university should be the knowledge exchange hub. And second one is capacity building of human resources and ability to respond to COVID-19. So universities, their role is to respond to COVID-19, and there's some special and important issues, especially the health and the public health the issues. We need to develop the human resources to respond to these issues. And third one is improvement of the environmental infrastructure and the guarantee of learning rights. That one may focus on just the student. And even though COVID-19 is a very serious situations, but the students still keep learning, and the schools keep providing the learning opportunities and the studying and the opportunities. So in order to provide those learning opportunities, especially the online education is very important. There are some proposals for better online education in developing countries. The first one is to provide support for internet facilities and expenses. That is, all of a sudden, we just faced the COVID-19 situations. So we have not prepared yet to deal with that issue. But we need to provide education. So this time, what is very important is online education is very important. But some countries, they have not prepared well. So they need some support about online education, especially internet facilities and even the expenses. The cost to connect the internet for some countries is still expensive. So they need that support. Second is to provide technical support to establish and improve online education systems. Think about if they do not have the online platform systems, then there's no connecting point and the contact point between student and the professors. Thankfully, the Handong Global University, we prepare LMS that systems so for developing countries. So if you need and anytime you can contact us and use the LMS systems. And third one is to further educate and train instructors and the professors and the university faculty members to adjust online education. And fourth is to provide online lectures. That one is sometimes they do not provide direct lectures, but through the open courseware and the online education, the resources, you can access and the whole the lecture series. So that would be very important resources. And the last one is to establish e-library and the e-books and the e-journals. And that is very the helpful resources for students and any school members to access the helpful materials. It does not matter whether they are on campus or is off campus, and the access to the education materials is very important. So that is kind of the brief summary about what we have learned throughout 11 country sessions. And thank you. We would like to have some open discussion sessions. Then you may have some comment on my summary, and then we already gave you the three questions about the discussion, and then we would like to continue to hear the opinions and your voices. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Byung-Duk Kang. And while Dr. Byung-Duk Kang's speech, the distinguished guests are joined our forum. I will introduce distinguished guest, Professor Dr. Govinda Tamang from Tribhuvan University in Nepal.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, we can hear your voice. Thank you. And from now on, we are going to have a panel discussion. And Dr. Byung-Duk Kang is the moderator, and he will lead the discussion. And also, distinguished guests will participate in the discussion. Please wait a few minutes for set up a discussion stage, and then I will pass the microphone to Dr. Byung-Duk Kang.
Thank you very much. As I told you, and today is the 13th, the forum is a closing session. So I would like to hear your voices more about what we need to do the next year. And as we gave you the three main questions about this closing open discussion, so anytime, any idea, there's no orders, and you just speak out. I just read the major questions I already just gave you. And the first one is role of higher education in COVID-19 era. Next year, we still have the COVID-19 issue. So what do you think about the role of higher education in your country? And also, what do you think about what is the most important for the higher education and to sustain in COVID-19 era? Second one is more specifically, what is the universities, the strategies to survive and to sustain and to keep the education next year, and especially about the online education. How you prepared and what do you need to provide online education? That is the second one. The third one is about the building partnership and the cooperation. And in what direction do you think this partnership should continue in upcoming years? So those are three questions, but and then the feedbacks and the comments about the summary of the forums. So there's no orders and no limitation. So we would like to hear your voices more to develop the partnership and our strategies next year. So who would like to start first? Oh, Professor Tamang.
May I?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for invitation. So I'm really grateful to Professor Yu, Professor Kang, and Unesco Unitwin program. And in fact, we have received a lot of inputs from this program. And in School of Management, Tribhuvan University, so we have been having collaborations with Handong Global University under this Unitwin program for the past 8 years. And our students have actually now started their entrepreneurship also in the field of social entrepreneurship, right? And the direction given by Professor Yu and team and Professor Chang also here, right? And now we have started for the community assessment, basically under the leadership of Professor Kang and community assessment. So our students have really started in that directions as well. However, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, we have not been able to have real flavor of community assessment. But in Nepal now, everything has already been opened. And now we are going to start rigorous camp as well. And for your kind informations, we have had pre-camp as well, starting this, I think, from tomorrow itself, for making our students getting ready for the final camp that has been scheduled this time from 18 December to 18, 19, 20, 21, 4 days rigorous camp. And unfortunately, Professor Yu and his team, due to this COVID-19, they will not be able to come here. But we are very fortunate enough to get your support and kindness always. And regarding our partnership, so actually we are getting a lot of support. And I would like to announce that we are going to establish this week, because I just had my architect team here at my office. And so I was busy there also. Now we are going to establish JLM Center with incubations lab as well. Partnership with some other, like Nepal institutions over here. And that will definitely contribute to our strategic relationship. And of course, we are thankful to EDU and basically Unitwin program, because we have learned so many things from this program, and we started our online educations, basically starting from this school itself, where we are having MBA in Global Leadership Management with assistance from Professor Yu and team. So therefore, we have got OECD also, that is distance learning centers as well. So we have been doing that one also. So these are the things. So I believe now we will be able to create a lot of impact through this program, and I hope to get support in the days to come as well. So thank you, Professor Kang, for this golden opportunity for providing the platform for us. Thank you so much, Professor Yu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Professor Tamang. He shared the Nepal situations. The Indonesia, Dr. Hartadi.
Okay, in my responses here regarding to the three questions that have been given to us here. Firstly, regarding the role of higher education during the social crisis, with respect to the socio-economic crisis. Okay, with regard to Indonesia case, Indonesia, we have a forum. It's called Indonesia Counselors Forum. So the members are among universities, all universities in Indonesia. And yeah, I'm a part of the member. I'm an active member of this forum. And what we are doing with the forum, that is, we have established task forces among the universities, and their focus on the public health issues on education, and also in the micro, small, and medium enterprises. What we are doing right now, that is, we are working very closely with the Indonesian ministries for each task forces. And then what we do there, we give a kind of suggestion and then recommendation, how to solve the crisis. So I think it's a good chance, it's a good respect given to the university's community. And then by giving that recommendation and suggestion, so the government will set a kind of policy to solve the challenges, the situation. And it has been doing very well, because the government are very open with any recommendation and suggestion from the university, from this forum. And then secondly, what we do there, we do the research and then recommend innovative ideas also to the government for better solution. Because as university, we are the research centers, and they are listening to us, and they are working very closely to us. And then regarding the sustainable higher education, what are the most important things that we are doing right now? You know that the COVID-19, it has affected simultaneously on the education, on their personal life, social life, and also on the economy. And what we have been doing, that is helping and supporting financially to the affected students so that they can continue their study. So it's the government has been doing well on this, giving a kind of financial support to the students and also to the parents who are economically affected, so that they can still continue doing the business. And then the government, develop better internet infrastructure. And what is going to be done next? It is develop a more adaptable syllabus. This is very, very, very important, because when we are practicing offline learning, so it's different when we do the online learning. So we need to look into the syllabus. That it is very, very important, because the situation is different, the challenges are there, you know. And also over online teaching courses, for better using virtual conference platform. I think that is very important, especially for the professors, for the lecturers who haven't got good experience with this situation. So they need a kind of new skills and knowledge how to better use of these new platforms. And then on the second question, what is our strategy for next year? And Indonesia, the cases is reducing, has been reducing significantly. So the government has encouraged higher education to have hybrid classes. So that partly the student may go to school and the rest are still having the classes from their home. So we need to develop the hybrid learning platform. So it's quite challenging to develop this kind of platform, because with the challenge of the internet infrastructure. And then the second is to provide good trainings for the professor, so that they will be better able to use the virtual conference platform. And also the next is the teaching methodology. It is very, very important. So they need to adjust the methodology when they are having an online teaching. And then train also the students to be more adaptable and better use of the learning gadgets, because we understand that, especially for the developing countries, that many of students are not having good gadgets for the online learning. And for the next question, how well is you prepare for non-face-to-face education? And what else it should be considered? There are areas need to be improved, such as internet infrastructures and networks. And then secondly, the teaching methodology and the usage of online teaching platforms. That is the areas that we need to focus in our campus to be improved in the near future. And with regard to the third question, through the Unitwin project, Handong Global University and our university in building the good partnership, what direction we need to have there in the future. I think we still need to continue on the innovation and education and social entrepreneurship, because it's a kind of a solution, especially for Indonesian case, that entrepreneurship is being challenged and being supported by the government to move up. Because when we are comparing with the entrepreneurship level with Thailand, Singapore, and even Malaysia, Indonesia is still under. And the government has projected to add up to 4 million entrepreneurs in the near future, so that we have a better economic structure. And also, we need to have a kind of develop strategic planning and partnership among the universities, among this group. So I think that is the thing that we can learn from one another, and also that should be very practical, and it should be doable. And then lastly, how we can be helped, that we can develop having good strategic partnership with our governments. So we need to have a kind of competence and skill, yeah, on this matter, so that they may look into us and they will be open to us, especially for the university members of this group, you know, because we need to become a more strategic partners, especially to the government in dealing with the social crisis or even the unpredicted future challenges we are going to have. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think these are our thoughts here and recommendation for this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, Dr. Harutadi, and your suggestions and your the explanation about your country situation. And the next time, Uzbek, Dr. Elmo Road, would you share your ideas?
Dear participants of today's event, it's a great honor for me to participate in this conference. Even though today is a Constitution Day, a public holiday in Uzbekistan, it's my pleasure. And regarding the situation in Uzbekistan, I should mention that yes, the COVID has an unfavorable impact on education of Uzbekistan, and parallelly, over the past 3 years, the reforms in higher education of Uzbekistan were aimed primarily at increasing the coverage, because before we say enrollment ratio for higher education institutions or the admission quotas are highly controlled by the government. Under the COVID period, the government now liberalizing the education sphere, and therefore the universities right now have more independence in terms of academic or financial issues right now. Therefore, for the first stage, 10 universities have been selected for to take academic and financial independence, and they can determine the quota for their university, because you know in Uzbekistan 3 years ago even the enrollment ratio for higher education was 8 and 9%, approximately 9%, and now we have a goal to increase this level to 50%. Right now is almost 25, and as a result, the number of universities has increased for the last 3 years from 65 to 117. It's like almost 2 times more universities we have right now. And we should mention that even though COVID and there's a huge adverse impact on education system in Uzbekistan, still we are undertaking the reforms regarding aimed at increasing the competitiveness and the coverage of and the material support of institutions in Uzbekistan. And one direction that government is supporting the universities and even students right now in Uzbekistan is to give more like discount for tuition fees of students if they are vaccinated. So government is supporting students and to stay vaccinated, and they will pay 10% less than unvaccinated students. And it's one issue that we are facing today with students, and it's okay. It's one cost for our university. Even though we are not increasing the tuition fee during the COVID because of because taking into consideration the income of people, and even though we are just offering this 10% discount for tuition fee our students. And next thing is regarding the second question, the online education. Yes, there's a huge change in our full-time and part-time program right now, because always we have had more students for our full-time master degree programs, and during the COVID, just we recognized that there is a huge need for part-time, and nowadays the proportion is vice versa. The part-time students is more than full-time students right now, and therefore intranet platforms and online education and distance learning, even we name it like blended learning, is more crucial for to keep this to undertake and to launch our new programs as well. And about this strategy, even though there's a huge competition because of new commerce, new universities and new branches from foreign universities, we are facing a huge increasing competition in education sphere, and our business school also has launched it as a response to these favorable changes and new master programs, degree programs, particularly on capital market and entrepreneurship. In the pandemic context, the cooperation with leading universities plays a key role to maintain the competitiveness as well. Fortunately, our business school has such a partner universities, that's Handong Global University and the others. And so regarding this, the format of our cooperation with Handong Global University in the framework of UNESCO Unitwin project, we highly appreciate technical and material support, especially modern hard copy textbooks on the new master degree programs and education equipments, special lecture series for graduate students on transformation of digital technologies in the Korean economy and the capital markets. We have successfully organized it by it's successfully organized by Handong Global University for our graduate students. And the master thesis guidance, because we need the insight and the consultancy from professors of our partner universities. Joint online conferences, I think we have in our plan in the third decade of December, we are planning, and our school will host an international online conference. And by the way, I will invite all of you to join this coming event. And as mentioned in the first part of our discussions today, an access to LMS system for our graduate students, and in the future, and nowadays we are allocating some credits for modules in this LMS system for our graduate students, and in the future we want to increase the number of academic credits for these modules. And the UNESCO Unitwin Open Courseware and the Open Electronic Education Resource Initiative, our faculty has been actively participating in this project from this year. It's very, recognizable. And I think for the future directions, I think this format of cooperation, I think we must continue. And we should digitalize, and because in Uzbekistan, our government now, we have Digital Uzbekistan 2030, and now education sphere also, they should develop the digital format of education. And therefore, regarding this strategy of Uzbekistan and all education institutions, and particularly our business school also, should take a path to digital transformation, and we should change our format of giving education to our generation. And at the end, I sincerely hope that our joint efforts and the cooperation on education will contribute to taking our business and the university education to the next level. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Elmorod. And the next is the Rwanda, Dr. Kashumba.
Good afternoon. It's a good morning for some of us further back in the clock. I'm Dr. James Gashumba, Vice Chancellor of Rwanda Polytechnic, and my presentation is about sustainable development strategy of higher education in the post-COVID-19 era in Rwanda. I hope you can still see me. So I'm presenting in 6 sections called Introduction to TVET in Rwanda, National Education Policy, and Rwanda Polytechnic, Priorities or Needs of Rwanda Polytechnic. Number 4, Challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic. Number 5, the role of Handong Global University. Number 6, the proposed areas for cooperation with Handong Global University. The aim of this presentation is to address the effects of COVID-19 on TVET education in Rwanda in the UNESCO Unitwin Forum, and to address the needs for sustainable technical vocational education and training TVET in Rwanda. Major points, I'll be focusing on only 3 major points: education policies, challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic, and 3, need for global collaboration. So the national education policy in Rwanda and how it relates to Rwanda Polytechnic, the Rwandan Ministry of Education puts much effort to implement the objectives of the National Strategy for Transformation. We usually refer it to as NST1 program, which spans 2017 to 2024. The NST1 is the foundation and vehicle to carry Rwanda Vision 2050 under its 3 pillars. Pillar number 1 is called economic transformation, which is to scale up the number of TVET graduates with skills relevant to the labor market, and also rapid response training and industrial-based training and apprenticeship. That's pillar 1. Pillar number 2 is called social transformation, and it aims to develop a competitive and capable Rwandan population to ensure quality education for all, aiming at building a knowledge-based economy. Pillar number 3 is called transformational governance. It is to increase citizens' participation, engagement, and partnership in development. So these are the 3 pillars of what we call the National Strategy for Transformation, which is a program going from 2017 to 2024 to drive us to what we call the middle income status. Number 2, the national education policy and Rwanda Polytechnic. Rwanda is a small and landlocked country with few natural resources, and the best way to develop its economy is to invest in human capital. The Ministry of Education targets to expand TVET and attract foreign investment and produce a competent labor force. In NST1, the National Strategy for Transformation, the target is to increase enrollment from the current 31.1% to 60% of the students joining TVET by 2024. The purpose of enrolling more and more of our young people in TVET is to close the current skills gap and to create a competent and skilled workforce for the industries. This is also associated with a national goal for reducing unemployment rate and ensuring more job creation and according to NST1, a total number of 1.5 million new off-farm jobs will be created by 2024. More points on national education policy in Rwanda is Rwanda Polytechnic has a responsibility to coordinate the implementation of TVET education through its integrated polytechnic regional colleges, or IPRCs. Rwanda Polytechnic is made up of 8 polytechnics, which are scattered or spread all over the country. With the newly developed competence-based curriculum, or CBC for RP, it is targeted to facilitate learning using both face-to-face and blended modes. In line with this, TVET is expected to contribute to socio-economic development in the following aspects. 1, job creation and employment opportunities. 2, improvement of social welfare and poverty reduction. 3, industry and business development. 4, promotion of research and innovation development. And the next part of national education policy and Rwanda Polytechnic is education policies under development in Rwanda Polytechnic, their research and innovation policy. 2, academic staff promotion policy. 3, entrepreneurship, consultants and incubation policy. 4, gender and social inclusion policy. And 5, anti-plagiarism policy. Number 3 is priorities and needs of Rwanda Polytechnic. To begin with, establishment of short and long-term TVET academia industrial training programs with foreign organizations or institutions or industries. 2, cooperation and collaboration for knowledge and skills exchange. 3, establishment of the Center of Entrepreneurship and Creative Economy. 4, engagement in staff development projects. 5, starting programs for bachelor and master technology. And 6, development of laboratories and workshops with cutting-edge tools and equipment in line with Industry 4.0 requirements. 7, provision of smart classrooms with the use of ICT devices for CBC implementation. 8, improving the existing learning management system and engagement in joint research and development activities. So those were challenges due to COVID-19. Shortage of financial resources is one of our major challenges. Some of the priorities of Rwanda Polytechnic are the ones I've just mentioned, and the challenges that we are meeting with are the following. Delay of academic activities due to COVID-19. So COVID-19 has delayed quite a lot of our activities. Our academic year is already running behind, like 6-7 months behind. Another big challenge is the shortage of digital academic resources for online classes, and absence of virtual or physical library is another one of our major challenges. We are also lacking smart devices for students to attend e-learning. We also have a shortage of technical know-how on the development of audiovisual resources for online classes, so we are struggling there. We have also a shortage of IT infrastructure to support the interaction of teachers and students through online classes. We also have a shortage of financial resources, small number of development partners, limited employment opportunities for RP graduates. But as we move along, we are solving them as we go. Now, the role of Handong, as I finish, the role of Handong Global University. Over the past 3 years, Handong Global University has supported RP in its capacity building program and has donated ICT equipment and library materials, and has supported the virtual library project, for which we are very thankful. HGU has also partnered with us in strengthening collaboration and cooperation in a pathway for the success of RP. This is because HGU is a principal implementer of the Unitwin Global Hub for Capacity Building, or UNAI Global Hub for Capacity Building in Higher Education Systems. Proposed areas for cooperation with HGU, I summarize them as follows: engagement in training of next generation of entrepreneurs, engagement in holistic community development programs, collaboration for start-up incubation center, engagement in urban improvement program, engagement in OCW/OER program, and engagement in joint education programs. So these are some of the things that we are in discussion with HGU. HGU team will be visiting us this December, and we are looking forward to their visit and for discussions to continue. We want to say how much we are appreciative of the Unitwin program and our engagement with the HGU. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kashumba, for sharing your situation and your suggestions. And Professor Zhang, would you share your ideas?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting close to the end, so I'd like to say something looking at the future and a prospect of what we can do. I think this coronavirus, even though it was an adversary, it was a difficulty, was a disaster to the world. But I think we often say the crisis is opportunity in disguise, and our difficulty and tribulation is blessing in disguise. I think I've been telling, because I've been a professor for quite a bit of time, and I've been telling people that why our education, higher education, is so expensive, because we need to have these expensive professors to gather up. So we have to pay high salaries, and we need a place for cutting edge education. So we need a place, we need a building, and we cannot take too many students, because the face-to-face contact with the student and teacher is very essential to transfer this tacit kind of unexplainable, some secret that we would like to deliver. No, it all was, I'm just under COVID-19, I'm realizing it's not so. It's been 2 years I'm teaching courses online, 100%, and they're performing better. So what does that mean? These contact, the way of educating through this online was as much effective as offline. Of course, there are some areas. You have to have students together up, but not for 4 years in dormitory all the time and everyone in the lab. No, it is not so. It is not so. Even though you bring them all to the labs and all, they won't be paying that much attention to you. So whatever you're teaching can be delivered, almost 90% of your teaching can be delivered online. Now, the wonderful thing about online is it's scalable. Having 100 students doesn't really bother you. And also, it itself, the record of your interaction with the student online is a content that you can store and just let it open. And without paying tuition, they can access higher education. So that possibility was there 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was there. But I didn't take advantage of it because it's much better to bring students and get them pay tuition, somehow bring some resource around when they go to the government and ask for money, and that was easier. I think honestly, we are getting a wake-up call. Because of COVID-19, we woke up now. We can make our education much cheaper, and we can educate much more number of people. We can give bachelor's degree, not 100, not 1,000, tens of thousands per year, if you're really willing to. I think that's the opportunity in the future. That's gonna change upside down. If the knowledge and information can flow on the internet, and that information not just not bad information. If it's good ones are flowing around and people take advantage of it, then I think it will be another wake up of the mankind, and it will be a new era, really new era, if we learn and willing to take advantage of our opportunity. I think so that opportunity is opening up, and in that respect, you may think that the Handong and Korean University have better experience. No, we don't have that experience. We're experiencing for the first time. So I think in the future, under the Unitwin, I think we can exchange our experience, like Rwanda case, and maybe some case in the Uzbekistan and Nepal. We don't have that much experience in Korea regarding this online effort. So you can share that to us and teach us. And so we can make everything flat. The world is flat. And this COVID-19 showed that it can be flattened and you can just exchange ideas without traveling. I mean, the Korean people were going around because we had money for travel. But maybe some countries didn't have the money to move around. But now on this internet, it's flat. It doesn't matter where you are. As long as you're connected, we can exchange information. So it's a flat. So I like to propose to exchange your experience and success stories and failure as well on this under this Unitwin project, and I think we can all flourish. Of course, I think Handong and Korea has some advantage, some more money now at the moment, but I think it's not gonna be forever. I think you will teach us, and in this respect, there's a huge opportunity out there, and higher education will change. It's going to be cheaper and scalable, and it will travel throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jang. And the Professor Yu.
Thank you all. Actually, your speech was very precious to me, and also, actually, I got a lot of information from you, and also I got your current situation. But I wanted to think about some different perspective of coronavirus situation. Actually, of course, coronavirus provides us the acceleration of the digital transformation. Actually, so actually nowadays, because of the fourth industrial revolution, we too much talk about technology, and AI. But I wanted to emphasize on another aspect of the education. Actually, education mainly through the not only transfer the our knowledge and information like that, right? So I think another aspect of the education is about the person or people. Actually, if we miss that point, and then probably our future the young men actually will not that much concrete in our society. So actually the people say that there are four actually a trend in the future education. First one is actually no professor and no instructor university will come up in the future. And second one is no campus university. And third one is no tuition fee university. And fourth one is no degree program in the university. That is the trend of our future education, even though in the digital transformation. So actually, I think this is a quite important point to make our university system to be creative and innovative. So not only actually concentrated on that kind of transformation, actually the digital transformation. We also think about our people, the human being itself. Actually, we needed to educate them how to impact got the impression to the society and people, and also in the future it is quite important. The sociological imagination is actually there are so many social problem comes up, not only the these types of disasters or some other things, but in this stage we needed some sociological imagination to overcome those kind of difficulty. So that's all related with the human being, not for the not to the technology. So I think I wanted to emphasize in this moment actually instead of the technological, transformation. Of course, it is important, but we needed to more focus on the human being itself to make a bright future of our society. Thank you very much. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Especially the four international the faculty members and the doctors and professors, and the two Korean professors to share your ideas, and that's very meaningful and helpful the information for us to prepare the next year. And the next year we still in the middle of the Korean the COVID-19 situation, and the online education is still important, and we would like to make the best effort to make a partnership with your universities and to help you. And another way, and you may help us too. And as a doctor, the Professor Zhang mentioned that, and is online education. We have some advantages, but we may not have the experience much. And that is your chance, your opportunity to teach us based on your experience. So not just the waiting us, and you just initiate your ideas, and you may open, it's kind of the international forum, something like that, from your experience and your ideas. Then we may support you to help that kind of the opportunity, and share your knowledge to all over the world. And next year, and we would like to see that kind of the opportunities. Thank you very much, and we would like to see the next year and the face-to-face, but if not possible, then we would like to see your face on the Zoom and through internet. And thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.